What's up, pimps? Tonight, we're going to work on a leather belt. I bought this leather dye. It's the same color that I used to love back in the day from Tandy Leather. It's a bison brown. That's what I have my belt done in and some other things I've made in the past. And I used to work on leather working more, but we're talking like 10 to 12 years ago. And we had a whole bunch of great leather working tools, probably a few $100s worth overall. And a friend that was watching our stuff for us let it all get soaking wet and ruined it all, so we had to chuck it. Kind of starting over now. That's all right. Anyways, I picked up this belt, 2-inch wide leather belt made in India for $5 at a secondhand store. And it's brand new. It was folded just like this, so it's got some folds in it. But other than that, it's freaking brand new. And it's going to fit my needs perfectly. And so we're going to go ahead and round off the edges today. I'll show you how to do it. If you buy a belt blank, you have to get this done. Now, there's a specialty tool you can buy, but you really don't need one. It is going to take you a little bit more time to do it the way I'm going to show you. But we're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and dye this baby as well. So let's get right after it, dudes.
When I'm working on a craft project like this, I tend to use tools that I would have with me in the field. This is my K-Bar Potbelly. It is a really big knife for this job, but, big knives are the original multi-tool. And we're likely to have something like this with us in SHTF. And, by using it on small tasks, you're just going to learn more about the knife and learn to be more effective with it.
So you guys can see I've gone through and cut the sharp edge off of all these. And this thing's going to get beat on, dudes. It doesn't have to be perfect for me. You can definitely purchase the tool. And I can't remember, is it a skiving tool? I can't remember what it's called exactly. I'll put a link down in the description, or explain it. But basically, it's a tool that you just put this thing flat on a table and just run that tool along these corners. And it's going to take them right off for you. But because I got more time than I got money, I went ahead and just did it all with a knife. Okay? But we're ready to go. We're ready to round these corners. And so we're going to do that. All you do is just get those edges wet. Nice and wet, right, baby? You always want to get it as wet as possible. The wetter, the better, you know what I'm saying? And you can be pretty hard on it, You can be rough with leather. It likes it. It responds well. So now, what we're going to do on these wet edges here is we're going to take this and just rub them until they're round. You kind of got to work your way around a little bit. And it's probably hard for you guys to see this, but that's working just fine. So I'm going to do everything on here. I'm going to get into this belt loop, do the whole, we'll call this the head. That's the head right there. You got to make sure you pay the attention to the head. And then I'm going to finish the rest. I'll probably do some preliminary measurements. And maybe I should show you guys how to do that as well. And I'm going to cut a good bit off the end of this belt. This thing is like a 60-inch waist, man. I don't need one that big. Not yet, anyways.
I wet and rounded all the edges so we can speed through this.
We are now going to cut this belt. And what I do is I only trimmed it up to about the 7th hole. I don't think I'm going to need the rest of these. Okay. So now I'm going to put on a lot of clothing. Some really thick clothing and sweat my ass off for a couple of minutes so I can make sure that I could even wear this belt over that stuff if I was super decked out for cold weather. And then we're going to cut it. I got some big ass jackets on. We're going to do this thing. Not that I would ever wear this belt over this jacket, because, oh boy, would I look like an idiot. You never know. Desperate times call for desperate measures, don't they, honey? Okay. It's not super tight like that. Let's see. So that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could actually do another one. I am sweating already. Oh boy. And that's still not super tight. You know, we want to keep it a little bit longer just in case I all of a sudden get fat. Hopefully that doesn't happen, right, honey? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Count your holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you're doing here, guys, is you're going to count your holes from here. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on the 6th one. And here's my end here. Okay, so I need to at least make sure I leave that many holes. I'm probably going to put one more. And let's see how many I use without all this shit on. This is me rocking just a t-shirt. Whoops, and an overshirt. Okay, make sure to get it over my knife handle there. We're going to cinch this baby down pretty good. Because you guys got to remember something. In SHTF, you're going to lose weight. You're going to have abs whether you want them or not. So this is me right now, comfortable. So that gives me 2 more. And you can always add another one in the field if you're really dumping weight quick. Okay, but this is going to, that's plenty for me. Just rocking it in my normal, slightly fluffy pre-SHTF condition. So we're going to keep 7 holes on the belt. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are going to be on the belt. And what we're going to do up here is we're going to cut from the base of this hole outward a bit and the other direction as well. And then we're going to go ahead and round those corners a little bit and make sure that we take all the sharp edges off of the leather, get it wet like we did before, and we go ahead and smooth those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to cut there. Cut straight down into it. Try and do this left-handed so y'all can see what I'm doing. These holes weren't punched right in the center of the belt. So it might look a little silly when we're done. And that's what we got. You guys can see the holes were punched a little off center. So now I'm just going to clean up these corners and go ahead and get them wet and round them off. Let's clean them up out here. And obviously, guys, you can round these if you want. Like, literally make it a round, you know, end, tail, whatever you want to call it. Wow, they really punched those holes off center, didn't they? They're not so bad down below, and I'm going to be using this thing down here most of the time. Dudes, I actually decided to change the shape a little bit, and instead of lining up the tip with the hole, which was obviously super freaking crooked, I just lined it up with the center of the belt to a degree. I'm happy with it. This thing's going to get hard use. It's going to be rode hard and put away wet. You know what I mean? And yeah, it is what it is. We're going to dye it now. Here's the trick about the dye. That's kind of why I'm wearing this funny black shirt here. You want to wear something that you can get dye on, because this dye is designed to dye skin, right? If it gets on your clothes, man, it's not coming out. It's dye, right? It's stuck in there. So you want to wear something that you don't mind getting a little bit of dye on. And the other thing you want to do is have some gloves that you're going to wear. Basically what we're going to do is take this and apply it with a sponge to the whole belt. And then we're going to go back over and we're going to wipe any excess off with an old rag. That totally did not snap. Nope. Where are you hiding the drugs? The other cool thing is we got a concrete floor in the house. So you know what? If I get a little dye on it, I'm not worried. There's no carpet down here. Shake up your dye really good. Guess I should have. This shit is hard to peel off with these damn frick gloves on, man. I'd use my teeth, but you know what? Look at that shit just squirted through there. I'd have been screwed. I've been walking around like looking like I'm missing teeth for a week.
Tobacco stains.
Tobacco stains. Oh man. Oh, when I was in the military, holy crap, there were dudes who just constantly have that ring of friggin' tobacco. I better be careful. I'm gonna touch my face. I'm gonna dye my friggin' facial hair on accident. And we're just using a cheap, like, freaking kitchen sponge. It's a clean one. There's these little high-speed dealies. I think they named them on here. You can buy them. Oh, my eyes. They're getting old. Okay, I can't read it for you guys. Sorry. I'm great at range, though. Don't come screw with me in SHTF. So we're just going to take it and just... My wife is looking at me like this is not a good idea. Ta-da! We're good. Actually, I'm probably going to need more than that.
Yeah.
Let's get this baby wet. The wetter the better, right? Get it nice and soaking. Okay. Just going to take it. That's what you're going for. Get your edges, right? Don't forget the backside. You know, you're going to need to give the backside some attention.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Now, I'm not going to make you guys watch this whole painful process. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I'll put the camera back on. But you're going to do this whole belt. Look at the color of that. You know, we're going to do the whole belt. And then we're going to wipe it down with a clean, dry rag. And then we'll come back and check it out. What you need to do too, guys, is you need to go back over this belt and look at it. And there's going to be spots that are a little lighter. I'm sure you can see that. Because the leather is imperfect. One of the things that makes it cool, right? So you got to go back over, and those lighter spots, hit them a little better. Hit them again. Try and even it out as best as you can. This is where I started. Look how light it is there. Much, much, much lighter. Just going to go back and hit it again. Also, I cut this sponge in half, my wife's idea, because this whole sponge would have ended up soaking of dye, and we don't really want to waste it. Honestly, I think those little leather gabbers, like a giant Q-tip, probably help save you some dye. This is the first time I've just used the kitchen sponge to do this. I've always used more high-speed stuff. And then, you know what you can do too? I used a Q-tip to get in around this buckle, and that worked really good. Make sure you get everything right, so you can't see any light areas inside the eye of the buckle right there or down in here. Get all that stuff. And we're going to do the same thing right now with the holes in the belt. Just take a Q-tip, dip it in your dye. Get your belt here. Quickly go through the holes. Looks like my sponge ended up doing the job, but we're just gonna double tap it. Double tap it, baby. Oh, yeah, see? This one got missed. You guys probably can't tell because of the light. We have an old pillowcase here. We're gonna wipe off any excess dye. Don't really have anything coming off. That means this baby has pretty much soaked it all up. My wife was just reminding me that if you take this belt just like this and you go put it on and go run around LARPing with your friends tomorrow, what's going to happen is this dye is going to come off on your jeans, and you don't want that. So what you need to do is let this thing dry. I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then I'm going to get some leather oil on it, and there still could be a little bit of dye that's going to come off. Just know that. All right? And that's it, man. We're done. I'm happy with it. Here's what we've got now after one coat. You guys can see there's a little bit of an imperfection there, some dark spot. But what you're going to get, and you can tell, there's light spots and dark spots. That's because skin is imperfect, right? So is leather. If we look at the back side, we got the same thing going on, but more obvious because it's the rough side. What you guys can do is continue to put additional dye on. You can do more than one coat. It'll get darker and darker and darker, and eventually it'll all look just one really dark color. And over the course of time, it will begin to fade a bit. It won't fade a lot, though. The belt I have on right now, I dyed 12 years ago, probably. And it faded a little bit, but it's still pretty damn dark. We're going to finish up this belt, pimps. We're going to put some oil on this baby. I'm going to use Ballistol. And this stuff is great. Very multi-purpose. I got gloves on just because I don't want to be tasting it with my dinner later, but it's safe to use with no gloves. And I got a little container here that I keep all my Ballistol covered stuff in. So I'm just going to get my rag, pour some more on it here, get down to business. There we go. We'll show you guys what we got when we're all done. There we go. She is all oiled up. You can see how perfectly straight this thing is. You know, it's going to do the job though, guys. I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I'd have left a couple extra holes. So I just can't gain any more weight, which is fine. I've pretty much weighed the same thing for the last 15 years, so I think I'm good there. I can lose all I want though, because I can always make new holes. At any rate, dudes, I'm going to let y'all go. Like, share it. Subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with the rest of the stuff we're going to do on here. I am going to do more leather working stuff down the road. Like I said, guys, I'm a bit rusty. It's been a long time, but it's going to come back. Feels like it's kind of like riding a bike. And I even ordered some specialty tools already. So we're going to get into it some more, okay? And check out my Patreon link in the description if you're interested in a whole bunch more content that's only available on Patreon. And supporting the channel would be awesome for those of you that like what I'm doing. And I'll see you guys in the next video.